Each year, hundreds of athletes call Sportsplex West home as they work to separate themselves from the competition through different programs geared to develop athletes to become the best that they can be. Sportsman Media will be starting a new video series to highlight all that is going on at Sportsplex. This series will do a deep dive into the baseball, basketball, softball, soccer, volleyball, and football programs, as well as the strength and recovery programs offered. Welcome to PlexCast.
Get out of here! Get out of here! Who's your hitting coach? Who is your hitting coach?
This week I'm joined by Tonto Baxley, who is the road recruiting director for not just the Iowa Sticks, but any baseball players in the general area. Tonto, for those that don't know you, can you kind of give a brief background on your history in the sport?
So, growing up, I grew up in Miami, Florida. Played at Miami Southridge, went on to play Jacksonville Community College, Miami-Dade Community College. Got married, had a couple of kids. Obviously, one's my son JC here, who helps run the academy. My other son Zach, who is coaching at Johnson County right now as assistant coach. Grew up coaching them. We moved to Kansas. Got offered an opportunity to take over an academy there, Wichita Sluggers. My mentor, who's the head coach at Tabor, and a shout out to Mark, he allowed me to take over the academy and run it for him. Ran it for 6 years. During that time, I was responsible for every day what happened in the academy and coaching teams and things like that. But I was also on the recruiting side of it for the first time, helping kids get into college. So that's where I kind of got started. And then that just led me to come here to come help out the Sticks and be with my son and see my grandkids and things like that to help out for recruiting.
On the recruiting side of things, can you kind of talk about what you offer and how you can get guys to the next level?
Is really on the player himself. He has to take initiative into the program. What I try to do on my end is I try to guide them the best I can, be very realistic with them. Understand that not every kid can go D1. It's very limited coming out of high school. So there's other routes and other avenues to go to that could still help you get into the D1 if that's your dream or what you want to do for baseball. We have videos that we post weekly and then I send those videos to colleges, individual colleges for that particular player where I think he's going to be a good fit, and also colleges that the player and I have discussed to where they feel like they can go to and we feel like it's a good fit. I also call college coaches pretty much every day. Talk to a college coach every day. On top of that, I do send out a monthly email to, it's over 3,600 coaches in the country. A monthly email about our players. Sometimes just our metrics. Sometimes it's, this player is starting to show improvement, starting to develop. Yes, he might be able to make this next step at the next level, and things like that. So the conversations, I keep the players up to date on it. And, if they go to camps, they let me know. I call the coaches at the camps and let them know, hey, I got this guy coming. So this way, when our players show up, they have their name already on the board. Like these coaches, okay, I know this guy's coming. I need to keep an eye on this guy.
It sounds like you got a great network you've built up over the years. How many athletes have you been able to work with, and what kind of levels?
So I've had 318 kids in my program, knock on wood. All 318 have gone on to college. Have I had a few here and there that have chose not to take the college route because it wasn't for them? Yes. But the ball players that I have had, all of them have gone on to the next level, anywhere from JUCO all the way to Division I. And I've had, in my lifetime, between Miami coaching in Kansas and here, kids that have played for me, I've had about 16, 17, 18 guys go on to the pros. Be in the minor leagues and play in the pros.
Can you kind of talk about the changing recruiting landscape and how that's affected how you do things?
Right. Well, when COVID hit, it kind of really changed everything. The draft being dropped to 20 rounds from 40. The transfer portal has been taking a big hit on high school kids. So a lot of high school kids now don't get more than one offer. Some might get one, some might get three, but at the end of the day, you just need that one. That one offer is really all you need. And it's got to be a marriage. You got to be wanting to go to that school. You got to want to attend it. They got to want you as well, and that's what's important. They want you. And so when COVID hit, like I said, it kind of messed up the landscape because kids were getting extra years. It kind of really took, it was harder to get high school kids into college because everybody was coming back for that extra year. And why not? I don't blame them. But now that COVID's finally over, we're over and we're past that era, the transfer portal now is taking place. And then you get hit with now Division I's can't recruit kids until summer of their junior year, which is August 1st. So now those kids are being held back a little bit who might be able to go on. A JUCO might be able to talk to them a little bit sooner now, but they're holding out because they are a possible D1 guy. And again, those are limited guys, and those are the guys that, yes, stay and wait, be patient. And you learn that over time that, you get an opportunity, and, college coaches, they have their time limits. And they want you to pick a school, want you to pick them.
Yeah.
But I tell everybody, in my opinion, like, everybody, you get one offer from a school, they're really offering 4, maybe 5, because they're used to being told no more than they're told yes. So you got to keep that in mind too, that I got this offer today. Hopefully I don't want to make that decision yet. I want to make it in a couple months. Well, hopefully that offer's still sitting there in a few months. So it's kind of a game that you play both ways. So the earlier I can get kids in to doors, the longer and a better opportunity they have to get that scholarship that's being offered to them sooner.
Yeah, the relationships definitely help. And so touching on the relationships a little bit more, how does this help in the recruiting process for someone like you?
So the relationship between me and the player first is very important. The communication from the player to me, anytime they get contacted by a school, anytime they go to a camp, I like to, like I said, call prior to going. I also call after a camp to try to get results from coaches and talk to coaches, see where they fit and how they did. And it's very important, like I said, the communication with the player. The player and I got to be on the same page. It helps out a lot that we're talking to each other. And then it turns out at the end of the day, like, we build this relationship to where at the end, I might be a coach player right now, but when they're in college, it's now more of a friendship. I get invited to weddings a lot and things like that from former players and things. So it becomes more of a friendship afterwards. And that's what's important to me. I want to see them become great young men before anything else. That's my ultimate goal. Now, on the coaching side of it for the college coaches, my relationship with them is one of honesty. I will not ruin my integrity to lie about a kid. I'm very, very honest, and I'm very straightforward of what that kid is in my eyes, but I also use other people opinion here in the academy, guys that have seen the guys play. I get their opinions as well, because that's the same thing college coaches are going to do. They might call me for an opinion, but they're going to call someone else too and get that opinion. And then that's how I kind of relate. And I also take time, like at Christmas, Thanksgiving, things like that. I'll just text the college coaches, say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. There are certain coaches that I call, just say, hey, how's your family doing? And I'm also fortunate too, 18 of my former players are also college coaches. So that really helps. Yeah. And like I said, my son coaches too at Johnson. But I just take the time to more of a relationship building process so they can trust me when they get players, that, we're not giving them somebody, or I'm not telling them a guy does this and he really doesn't. It's very honest opinion and very truthful. So that's what I stick my reputation on.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do what you're able to do today if not for the honesty that you've built with the players as well as the coaching staff, because at the end of the day, it's a give and take relationship where you have to keep that relationships open. You're helping them get better players as well as you're helping the players get to the next level. But without that honesty, you're not really able to do that.
That is correct, 100%.
So if people are interested in signing up for this, where do they go to learn more?
So the road to recruiting is, we have a Twitter account. I also post on all social media platforms. They can get online through the Sticks website. There's a road to recruiting option. They can get on there, or they can just reach out to me. They can send me messages, call me on my cell phone, text me, whatever, and I can sit down and talk to any parent, explain the process to them, and be there as a guide. Like I said, I'm that mediator. I'm that person in the middle, trying to help these kids make the right decisions and hopefully get them to the point, get to where they want to go. And like I said, at the end of the day, my goal in my life is to see as many kids go to college as I can and become better young men. And the further they go in their career, that's on them, on their skill level. But if I can see them go to college, I just know they're going to become better players, people for society, I should say.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Just not on the baseball side of things, just
Right.
helping out in general
Yes.
with these kids' lives.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a good offering for Sticks guys,
Mm-hmm.
but can you kind of talk about how you do it for other programs?
So the other players that have reached out to me through other academies or other places around, we kind of do it similar. The other thing I didn't add earlier too that I do is like during the season I'm going to do my best to go as many high school games as I can, so I can even videotape the kids. And when I do go to the high school games, I do call college coaches, hey, I'm going to this game. When we go play at events, I tell them where we're going during the fall and say, here's our schedule. So I will send the email out to over 3,000 colleges, hey, we're playing at this event, and here's our schedule. So I try to get as many college coaches there as I can to come watch our guys play in person, because obviously in person is the best way to get seen. But the outside players, the same thing. You know, if we're at the same event, I'm going to go videotape that player while we're there too. If I'm at the high school event that they're playing in, I'm going to videotape that player too, whether they play for Sticks or another organization. And then I just approach it pretty much similar. The only difference is I don't get to see them as much because our guys are here. But I do still have that same type of relationship with players. I still talk to them on the phone. I still communicate with them to make sure that they're getting the same level of consistency from me that I give to our guys too here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like you got a great relationship with all the players, as well as you're really covering a lot of bases for them with all the videos, outreach for them. It's saving them a lot of time. So what would you tell athletes that are debating joining this on the road recruiting?
I would tell them, you know, there are some kids out there that, I'll be honest with, don't need me because they're talented enough. A college coach is going to take them. They don't need anybody, to be honest. They could play in a good program or play on a good team, and they're going to get seen. And then you have your fringe players that, you know, they need that extra boost. Now, even the good players, you know, still can use, hey, do you know this coach? Can you call this coach? Can we make some kind of, you know, start of a conversation? And some things are possible, you know. So you kind of need that buffer too, because, you know, depending on who you know, and in a game, the game of baseball is so, it's really smaller than people think. Baseball world's smaller, so everybody knows everybody, it seems like. And so it's like making you have that relationship that helps, you know, and that's what allows me with my relationship building that I have with the college coaches. It allows me to get some kids' foot in the door that might not have got an opportunity, maybe get their name on the board to give them a chance. And like I said, the fringe players that are, you know, borderline JUCO guys, Division II players, you know, that's like the ones that really need the most help. And you got to, at times, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and have that realization, hey, this is who I am. And there's nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, it's about getting your degree. Yeah. It's about becoming a better person. And that's, you know, baseball, they'll find you if you're that good. Doesn't matter where you play. They're going to find you if you're that good. And it's just, like I said, at the end of the day, I just care so much about them becoming better people than anything else. And so I really take that to heart when I'm trying to help these kids and make sure that they're finding the right place to go to for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. You find the right fit for every player, every athlete, depending on their skill level. Doesn't really matter. You'll still help them get to where they need to be.
Hey, right time now. Come on, man. Hey, only one.
So there are different recruiting sites that do similar type of things. What makes you stand out compared to these sites?
Personally, I think it's the personalization that I provide. There's plenty of big companies out there that will offer recruiting, and they probably do a really good job at it. But what you get with them is someone over the phone, and you might not get the same person every single time you call when you have an issue or something's going on. With me, you're going to get me, and I'm here, and you're going to see me. You're going to be able to talk to me in person. You're not going to get the over the phone call when we can see each other in person. So I think that benefits the player more, knowing who they're dealing with personally, knowing that the person that they're dealing with does have their best interests at heart, as opposed to a big company.
Yeah, because you definitely have, you have a personal relationship with these players where you really care about them versus these recruiting sites might be just looking at them as another player in their long list, whereas you have a long list, but you also have a personal relationship
Correct.
with all these players.
Correct.
So, I think that was a lot of great information about the road recruiting, and that's all we got time for on this week's episode. So thank you, Tonto,
Appreciate
for
it. Thank you
sharing
for
a lot about your program today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we'll see you next week on PlexCast.
You going, Zach? My money don't.